What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to do the ultimate preparation guide. Yesterday we had the data mines of not only the sections of the nodes that we have for the War Scourge, where you'll be able to unlock Red Hulk, but after my video was released, a few hours after, we also had the announcement of each of the enemies that we are going to face. And based on that, now we can assume, we can think on which characters and which teams we want to have ready and available in order to defeat these enemies. And we are going to talk about all of that in this video. We are also going to talk about which are the priority enemies that you should kill as fast as possible, and which characters you should use in order to sack specific nodes, and also characters that you should use in certain nodes to charge up the energy so you have the cooldowns ready on a few further nodes. As always, if you like the information on this video, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about the War Scourge, where you'll be able to unlock this amazing legendary Red Hulk that is definitely going to change the game, the meta of the game. Okay, so let's get started. Node 1. Okay, so in the Node 1 we are going to have Kitty Pryde, Phyla-Vell, Jessica Jones, A-Force, and we're also going to get some Young Avengers. Okay, so because we are getting Kitty Pryde on this specific node, we have to be very careful with our Web Warriors or Symbiotes. We have high resistance from Jessica Jones, we have a lot of city characters, so in this specific situation for node 1, the Web Warriors and the Symbiotes are not going to be a good option, so you have to rely on other bio characters. Okay, so with these enemies in mind, the solution for the node 1 for the War Scourge is going to be a Gamma team. Now, you are going to use the full Gamma team. Red Hulk is right here, but is not working properly on MSF.gg. For the first node, 100% Gamma team. And for this, you are going to do first a run on difficulty 5 with just a few Scourges to get 500,000 points. As soon as you have the 500,000 points, you quit, you get Red Hulk, you get him up, and then you are ready to start difficulty 7, difficulty 8, maybe even difficulty 9. Okay, so once again, node 1, because of Kitty Pryde, because of Jessica Jones, you don't want to use your Web Warriors. You don't want to use your Symbiotes. They don't have enough focus to deal with these characters, so you want to rely on a team that is more beefy, that has more stats, and that can output more damage without relying on negative effects in order to defeat the first node. Now let's take a look at the second node. This node also requires bio, and this node is not as hard as the previous one. You can still use your Gamma team here, but I would not recommend that. You kind of want to use characters that you want to charge up cooldowns for upcoming nodes or anything like that. So what you might want to do on the node 2 is to use your Web Warriors. Here we don't have Jessica Jones, here we don't have Kitty Pryde, so you don't have any problems with disrupts, or we don't have any problems with characters with high resistance. Still, you should focus on getting rid of Shang-Chi, you should get rid of Sharon Carter, and you should also get rid of Ghost Rider. So start off with your Symbiote, start off with your Web Warriors, and then clean up the node with whichever you find necessary. Now, I'm gonna show you a team that if you have this team geared up, it's gonna be a great team for this node. If you don't have this team geared up, then forget about it, but it's something that you should have into consideration. Once again, Web Warriors, Symbiotes, that are going to be fine. You kinda want to avoid using Hulk on this node because you don't want your Hulk to die, and with Castle on the field and so on, it might be a little bit dangerous. Okay, so for this specific node, and because we are facing Shang-Chi, the optimal team would be something like this. Miss Marvel together with Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, and Squirrel Girl. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have this team, that's why I mentioned the Web Warriors and the Symbiotes. In case you have this team, this might be optimal. to get rid of that Shang-Chi and Sharon Carter early on, because this team starts off with no positive effects, and they don't need positive effects because Yo-Yo is constantly applying slow offense down to the enemies. Then we have OG Spider-Man applying slow and defense down, and that's going to greatly increase the output of this team in terms of damage, with Black Bolt and with Miss Marvel and Yo-Yo applying assists to each other. So this is going to be a decent team to get rid of that Sharon Carter and Shang-Chi early on, so after you can clean up the node with whichever characters you want. Once again, you don't want to use characters here like Miles or Hulk or anything like that that you might need in upcoming nodes. Okay, so that's for the node 2. This is once again the best option for having no buffs, so Shang-Chi does not break your face. Now let's take a look at node number 3, and the node number 3 requires Avengers. And we have some problematic characters here. We have Thor, we have Magneto, we also have Agent Coulson, and we have Cloak and Dagger. Now, Dagger comes on the first wave, and then Cloak comes on the second wave, so you want to prioritize getting rid of Dagger. Other thing that we need to have into consideration is Coulson. Coulson is very problematic. Don't overestimate Coulson, because with his basic, it does turn rewind to your characters by 20%, and this changes for up to 3 targets. So it's very problematic, and this is why you need to get rid of Coulson as fast as possible. Your priority targets on the first wave are going to be Coulson, Thor, and Dagger. After that, you want to get rid of Valkyrie and also of Cloak. Okay, so the solution for this node, you want to rely on your Young Avengers. You probably charge them up on the previous node if you use the team I suggested, otherwise they are still good, they are very beefy, they have a lot of sustain, and that is going to allow them to face this team. These enemies, there is only Heimdall on the second wave that applies heal block, so this is perfect for the Young Avengers, you are not going to have any problem with them. You can also use the Bionic Avengers, and the reason why it's because Lady Thor can flip your positive effects. So one way or another, you can use the Young Avengers or the Bionic Avengers. Just be careful if you are using the Bionic Avengers to don't allow your Iron Man to die, or you can make a mixture of Bionic Avengers and Young Avengers, that's also a possibility. Okay, let's take a look at node number 4, and node number 4 can be a little bit problematic. And in this node, I really recommend that you have Bionic Avengers or something like that. And the reason why it's because of Abomination. He's going to apply tons of negative effects to you, offense down and defense down. So if you can clear that away with Squirrel Girl or with Vision, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be your goal. You want to get rid as fast as possible from Abomination, and you also don't want to sleep on Brawn, because he's going to steal your positive effects, and he can also one-shot one of your characters with his ultimate that steals 35% of your health, and it bypasses death proof. Very careful with that. Now, She-Hulk is also a problematic character. You want to stun She-Hulk, and you want to turn rewind her, slow her as much as possible. Then on the second wave, you want to focus on Scream and also on Deadpool, because Deadpool does massive amount of damage. She throws negative effects at your face, things you really don't want. And Scream, because she can remove tons of positive effects from your team, apply bleeds, applies offense down, applies turn rewind, slow and disrupt, and you really don't want to deal with any of those situations. Okay, on this node, maybe you want to use your Thor, so you might want to come in with a team where you do most of the node and then you just die off, so you can charge up your Thor's ultimate. You can use Thor here because he's an Avenger character, and you want to make sure that your Thor has the ultimate ready for the node 5. Node 5 is going to be very problematic, so make sure that or on node 3, which is also a possibility, or on node 4 that you charge Thor's ultimate so you can use it on node 5. Okay, so for this node, as I mentioned before, I recommend the Bionic Avengers. Once again, make sure that your Iron Man does not die, and I recommend V-Vision to have the healer ISO 8 here, maybe also healer ISO 8 on Hulkbuster to make sure that everyone is max health, and Hulkbuster, he has the highest HP on this team together with V-Vision and Deadlock, but Deadlock I definitely don't recommend to use the healer ISO 8. This is only on extreme situations in case you are trying to do the maximum difficulty. Okay, so now we are going to talk about Node 5, and this Node 5 is extremely problematic. As you can see on the field, we are going to have Omega Red, Psylocke, Strange Supreme, Silver Samurai and Wong. So we have the first wave is just brutal. It's really brutal. There is nothing you can do about it. If you are going to take your main team, you are going to get destroyed. What I'm going to recommend to you is to use the Ravager minions to sack the node. So Ravager Bruiser, Ravager Stitcher, whatever, you want to make sure that you use them to waste the cooldowns of Omega Red from the special and also from the ultimate. So you want to go first sack, use Ravager minions, then you might have to do a second sack depending on how big your Ravager minions are, with Sif and with some other character, with Heimdall or some other, or Captain America. Sif or Captain America, just to make sure that you waste the ultimate from Omega Red. That's going to be extremely important. After that, after you sack the node, after Omega Red does his ultimate, you want to bring your Wave 1 Avengers with Lady Thor and with or Black Widow or Hawkeye. Hawkeye is going to be extremely important, and it's also nice if you can charge up the ultimate of Hawkeye on Node 3 or Node 4, just to make sure that those ultimates are ready so you can blind and slow Omega Red, or that you can stun with Thor. So as you can see, that requires a lot of preparation with Thor and with Hawkeye in order for you to beat this Node 5 easy mode. It's not going to be easy, but if you want to do it as easy as possible, you want to charge up Thor, and you also want to charge up Hawkeye. Okay, so with that in mind, you are going to use Hawkeye, you are going to use Thor, you are going to use Hulk, you are going to use Lady Thor, and you are going to use Hulk or Iron Man. I don't know which one I missed, but you want to focus on Omega Red as fast as possible, and also Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai has very low cooldown on the taunt, so you want to make sure that you get rid of him, because outside of Alliance Wars it doesn't have a lot of health, so Omega Red and Silver Samurai are your priority targets. Then Strange Supreme, and after that Madeline Pryor. As soon as Madeline Pryor drops, you need to get rid of her, and also get rid of Dazzler, because she's going to flip your positive effects around. Now, in case you stun Dazzler or Madeline Pryor, then you are fine, but this is going to be luck based, so be careful with that. Okay, so as I mentioned, the team I recommend is this one: Hawkeye, Thor, Hulk, Lady Thor and Iron Man. You can also use here Valkyrie, but I will assume that you have a bigger Iron Man than you have Valkyrie, so one of those are good, but you want to make sure that you have stuns and extend those stuns with Iron Man, or you have stuns with Thor and you can apply more stuns with Valkyrie and Lady Thor. Okay, so that's for Node 5. Node 5 is the most difficult node on the War Scourge. As you saw, like Omega Red, Silver Samurai, Doctor Strange Supreme, Madeline Pryor and Wong. It's just a brutal node. It's going to be extremely brutal. This is going to be the craziest node from the War Scourge. So set your expectations accordingly. Moving on, let's talk about the Node 6. On the Node 6 we need villains, and for villains it's going to be extremely easy. We are going to take a look at a team that should one-shot this node easy mode, but the priority targets, the targets you really need to be careful with, are going to be Sharon Carter, Captain Sam and Lady Thor. After those characters are gone, it's easy mode. Okay, so for this specific node we are going to use Emma Frost, Lady Deathstrike, Silver Samurai, Omega Red and Morgan Le Fay. This is in case you are some kind of veteran player. If you have most of the characters available, this is probably going to be the best team. Of course, if you don't have these characters available or big enough, you want to replace Silver Samurai or Lady Deathstrike with Agatha or Doctor Doom or Dormammu, depends on what you have. Okay, so node 6, easy mode. Now you have node 7, where it's also required villains, and in this node we have Cersei and Icarus. So you never want to have these two characters at the same time, because they are going to buff each other, damage, resistance, focus, health and so on, and also because they are going to give more abilities to each other. So as soon as you can, you want to get rid of Black Widow. Yes, you want to get rid of Black Widow because she's going to give speed up for everyone, and that's going to be extremely problematic for you. So Black Widow, she's your first target. Then you want to get rid of Cersei. On the second wave, you will get Yellow Jacket, and you're also going to get a Lady Deathstrike. You have to be extremely careful with the Yellow Jacket, because in raids and in other game modes, not our own Yellow Jacket, but the NPC Yellow Jacket, he does insane amount of damage, and if he has a Raider ISO 8, you might get destroyed with his ultimate. So be very careful with that. Try to get rid of Yellow Jacket as fast as possible, and then deal with Lady Deathstrike. If Cersei is gone, if Black Widow is gone, you should have easy time dealing with Icarus. Just make sure that you stun him, ability block him with trauma. We have a lot of characters that do that, and you'll be fine. Node 7 is also going to be easy, because we are going to use this team right here: Agatha Harkness, Morgan Le Fay, Strange Supreme, Abomination, and Omega Red. This gives us multiple stuns, multiple ability blocks, multiple traumas, and that's all you need to deal with those characters. Okay, so now let's take a look at node 8. And on node 8, you require skill characters. So you have a very limited pool of which characters you can use. So with the skill characters, you want to focus mostly on Dagger, or mostly on Dagger. That's it. You have to get rid of Dagger, and you also have to get rid of Star-Lord T'Challa. After that, you want to focus on Emma Frost. Now, you might want to sack the node to remove the effects from Emma Frost. If you can remove her special, that's going to be great, so you don't have to deal with her. But you have to be careful with Dagger. You have to get rid of her before she does her ultimate, because that does way too much damage. You can also sack in order to remove the cooldowns of Star-Lord T'Challa, so keep this in mind. Okay, so first wave, get rid of Dagger, get rid of Star-Lord T'Challa, get rid of Emma Frost, and then the second wave drops. And the second wave will have a Cloak and Silver Samurai. This is why you want to get rid of Dagger as fast as possible. Then you should get rid of Cloak, and then you should get rid of Silver Samurai. Make sure that the X-23 here, she's only scary if you are using some kind of minion. So you have to be very careful with your Mary Hill and with your Nick Fury, because if you start popping up minions, Star-Lord T'Challa and X-23, they are going to destroy you. So be very careful with your minions. Be very careful with the characters you use. So after you are done with Cloak, after you are done with Silver Samurai, you want to focus everything on Madeline Pryor. She's extremely dangerous, and she will mind control the other characters in order to do damage to you. So don't blind her. You have to stun her or get rid of her. Okay, so for node number 8, you want to use your Secret Avengers with Castle and Shang-Chi. And the reason why you want to use Shang-Chi, it's because on spawn, Dagger will spawn with a lot of buffs, and you want to use those buffs to do more damage with Shang-Chi. Be very careful, because you want to save those characters to use on the other node, so don't allow them to die. If you are not so sure about using Kestrel in this node, you can also use Moondragon to have additional healing, and you also have Turn Rewind with Moondragon. So keep Moondragon in mind. She's a very good character, and when you have to Turn Rewind specific characters like Dagger, like Cloak, like Star-Lord T'Challa, that's going to be very helpful. Of course, Kestrel does insane amount of damage. Just be careful with not wasting any of these characters on node 8. Okay, so now we have node 9, and this node 9 is mostly easy. The enemy characters are very slow, so if your team from node 8 survived, you should be fine. If it didn't survive, you have Gamora, you have Moondragon. You can also use Valkyrie here together with Sif in case they didn't die on the previous nodes. So overall this is not a very problematic node. This is another one of the easiest nodes. And yes, there is Magneto here, but it's pretty much irrelevant. You can also use Black Widow here, and she can also remove negative effects from your characters. So keep that in mind in case you are using skill military characters, or in case you are using Avenger characters that are also skill. Okay, moving on. So this is the same team that we mentioned. Now we have node number 10. So this is the final node of the War Scourge, and this node looks very scary, but it might not be that scary. You just have to use the right characters. So here we have tons and tons of damage because we have power armor together with Bionic Avengers. So this can be very, very scary. We have Iron Man, we have War Machine, we have Ironheart, we have Deadlock. So all of these characters do tons and tons of damage. You have to be very careful. Now, the trick about this node is understanding how the team works. The team relies most on Iron Man's passive, and Iron Man overall is very slow. So you want to get rid of Iron Man as fast as possible. So you want to use Lady Thor to flip the defense up that they have on spawn. You want to use Lady Thor ultimate to flip the defense up into defense down, and then you want to do massive amounts of damage to the enemy Iron Man. For this you are going to use a mixture of Wave 1 Avengers, Hero Asgardians, and also Ravagers. Yes, Ravagers will finally show up. Here is where you want to use your Star-Lord T'Challa, and where you want to use your Yondu. Yes, we are going to use Yondu because the minions he summons, they are going to turn rewind the enemies, and they are also going to apply slow to the enemies. You just have to make sure that on the second wave, whenever Jubilee drops, you want to get rid of her as fast as possible. Star-Lord T'Challa is going to be very important here because he can steal the energy of Ironheart, and that will allow you to prevent the ultimate that she does. You have to decide. Do you want to get rid of Rescue, or do you want to get rid of Ironheart? So if you have to choose between both, you want to steal the energy from Ironheart so she doesn't do the ultimate. This is exactly like Node 2 on the Doom 2 raids. You guys remember the Doom 2 raids? This is exactly the same thing. The node number 2, it had a rescue and it had Ironheart. You have to steal the energy from Ironheart with your Star-Lord T'Challa in order for her to don't apply the ultimate to you with the defense down and with all those negative effects. Okay, so with that in mind, the team that we are going to use is this one right here. As I just mentioned, Thor, Lady Thor, Hulk, Star-Lord T'Challa, and Yondu. This team should allow you to do most of the node, if not the entire node. You might have to change some ISO weights, maybe healer, to Yondu and also to Thor, but you really want to maximize the damage potential of Thor, Star-Lord T'Challa, and Lady Thor. Lady Thor, you might use her as a striker or as a skirmisher. That will depend on the difficulty and if you are able to flip the defense ups easily or not. Okay guys, so that's gonna be the guide for the War Scourge. What enemies you should target first, which characters should you use, how should you sack the nodes. We'll be making videos on all of these when the event will be available. As it seems, the event should be available within 2 weeks from what I heard. Maybe not, maybe we'll see, but those are my expectations. So make sure that you have these characters ready, and make sure you set your expectations. That's going to be the most important thing. If your expectations are fine with a 5-star Hulk, then you don't have to get up a lot of characters. If you expect more than a 5-star Hulk, then you have to decide if you want to invest in these characters or if you want to invest even in more characters to have a wide variety of options. But overall, I think these are the best picks. I think this is going to be the best way. And as I just mentioned, we'll be making videos on all of that as soon as the event will be available. And not only will make videos for the top 500 or top 2000, because 2000 is what you need to get a 6 yellow star Hulk. We'll also make how can you unlock Hulk as fast as possible, how can you obtain him free to play, or how can you obtain him with a smaller roster than mine. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.